All right, good evening. My name is Tim Rohr. The topic for today's presentation is Please Pay Inside, evaluating Bluetooth-based detection of gas pump skimmers. First, I'd like to thank the authors of the original paper, Nishant Bakshar, Maxwell Bland, Aaron Schulman from the University of California, San Diego, and Kirill Levchenko from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. This paper was originally presented at the 28th USENIX Security Symposium in Santa Clara, California on August 14th to the 16th, 2019, and the link to the original paper can be found in the slides. So, overview of the discussion points for today. In this presentation, we are going to discuss purpose and objectives. We're going to give a brief history of the research and idea, as well as a high-level overview of the current method of capturing card payment data and how that can potentially be a method to detect these devices. In the background section, we will discuss internal gas pump skimming, their construction, monetary incentive, and prevalence. For the data collection methodology, we will discuss the researcher's approach to the Bluetooth scan collection in the specific study. And then the results, we will discuss the end results of this study, what the skimmers that were detected looked like, and how they compare to skimmers recovered independently by law enforcement. For the countermeasures, we will discuss possible countermeasures to the Bluetooth detection that criminals may use, as well as potential responses to those countermeasures. For operational lessons, we will discuss what was learned about skimming and the criminal investigation procedure while performing the study. And then for related work, we will discuss some of the other research that has been done on related topics. And last, of course, we will conclude the presentation with our conclusion. The purpose and objectives. So starting off with the concern, gas pump skimming is one of the most pervasive forms of card payment attacks in the U.S. today. In 2018, law enforcement officials recovered 972 skimmers from gas pumps in Florida and 148 skimmers from Arizona alone. Based on industry estimates, a single skimmer can capture 30 to 100 credit cards per day, and each card, based on estimates from law enforcement officials, nets the criminal an estimated $500, which results in a daily loss of $15,000 to $50,000 per day of operation for each skimmer. Gas pumps are an ideal skimming target for a few reasons. They have weak security. Payment circuitry can easily be accessed with a universal key or a crowbar. Reading payment data is as easy as tapping into a ribbon cable. And skimmers can be hidden inside of gas pump enclosures, making them difficult to detect. Bluetooth and skimming are vital tools for the criminals. Unfortunately, law enforcement rarely catch criminals while they are collecting payment data due to many skimmers being equipped with Bluetooth connectivity. Bluetooth allows criminals to remain in their car while wirelessly retrieving the card payment data. While Bluetooth is a vital tool for criminals, it could also prove to be an opportunity to make detecting skimmers easier. So the concept that the researchers had was that it might be possible to detect these skimmers using a Bluetooth scanner. The researchers wanted to evaluate the effectiveness of detecting skimmers with a Bluetooth scanning from a smartphone. So they built an application called Blutana in order to evaluate if Bluetooth scanning would be an effective technique to detect Bluetooth skimmers. Some of the expected problems with Bluetooth scanning, though, there are many legitimate products that appear at gas stations that use the same Bluetooth modules known as known skimmers. Therefore, MAC address prefix-based detection may lead to false positives. There are many Bluetooth modules used in skimmers that do not comply with IEEE MAC assignment requirements. Moving on to the background section. So what are skimmers? Skimmers are illicit devices that capture credit card magnetic stripe data when a card is used at a point of sale, POS terminal, or automatic teller machine, ATM. There are two common types of skimmers in use: external skimmers, which use a magnetic head concealed in a false plate to read the magnetic stripe of a card as it's inserted into the real card reader. And internal skimmers, which is the focus of this paper, are installed entirely inside a POS terminal or ATM, leaving no visual evidence of its presence. They are attached in line to the cable that connects to the card reader to the main circuit board of the POS terminal tapping into the data and drawing power. To make data collection easier, many internal skimmers include a Bluetooth serial module that allows the perpetrator to covertly collect the skim card data from a safe distance. This paper focuses primarily on Bluetooth skimmers. Internal skimmers. So Bluetooth skimmers are easy to construct using a commodity of hardware with a total cost of usually $20 or less. Bluetooth skimmers are installed entirely inside a POS terminal or ATM, leaving that no visual evidence, as we mentioned before. And then fuel pumps with a built-in POS have become a very popular target. They are unattended, easy to access, and have poor physical security. Bluetooth skimmers consist of a TNC development board and a Bluetooth to serial module, about the size of a stick of gum. They are often wrapped with gray or white tubing to blend in with the existing cabling, sometimes other colors as well. In the pictures on the slide, we can see what the internal skimmers look like. These Bluetooth skimmers allow a perpetrator to return to the station with a smartphone and collect the data. Stealing and monetizing stolen card and debit card data, called carding, is a well-studied form of financial fraud. However, reliable estimates of losses resulting from a single skimmer are difficult to determine. To the criminal, the expected revenue breaks down as card value times cards per day times days deployed. So taking that a step further, with card value, in order to monetize the stolen card data, skimmer installers have two options: sell the data on the black market or cash out the cards themselves. Based on the researchers' survey of sites selling stolen card data, black market prices fell in the range of $10 to $220, depending on if it was a credit or debit card and if it came with a PIN or zip code. Cashing out debit cards with a PIN are often cashed out by withdrawing money from an ATM, while credit cards are often cashed out by making large purchases and reselling the items, such as iPhones. With regards to cards per day, Rippleshot, a payment fraud prevention company, estimates a compromised pump can produce 30 to 100 cards per day, but their more conservative estimates are between 20 and 50 cards per day. Days deployed. With internal skimmers, they're not limited by battery life, so they can remain active until detected. One other factor to consider is the cash-out success rate. Our researchers' analysis of the court documents revealed that criminals are often unsuccessful when trying to cash out a skimmed card, and estimated the success rate at only 47%. Taking all this information into account, the total skimmer value has an estimated range of $4,253 to $63,638. You can see the calculations there based on total number of cards, the cash out estimated value, and the percentage on the low and high ends. Data collection methodology. The researchers developed that tool called Blutana to evaluate the effectiveness of Bluetooth-based skimmer detection. Blutana scans for nearby Bluetooth devices every 5 seconds using Android's Bluetooth API. It collects the scans and geolocation data and uploads the data to a secure database over a cellular link. The researchers then outfitted 44 volunteers and inspectors in 6 states: California, Arizona, Maryland, North Carolina, Nevada, and Illinois, with low-end smartphones running Bluetooth in kiosk mode, and scanned 1,185 gas stations. In kiosk mode, the users could not close the application nor stop it. During the scan, they observed 2,562 Bluetooth devices. Blutana detected a total of 64 skimmers installed at gas stations in Arizona, California, Nevada, and Maryland, and it was the sole source of information that led law enforcement to find 33 skimmers. The Blutana display shows a list of Bluetooth devices detected during scanning. Blutana evaluates the default Bluetooth profile of the modules, which consist of the MAC prefix, the device name, and the class of device. It should be noted that the device name can be missing due to poor signal strength or modified by criminals. All skimmers studied by the researchers had a device class of uncategorized. The procedure that Blutana uses for highlighting the suspicious devices can be seen on this slide in that order. So it evaluates in 3 phases. It evaluates the class, then the MAC prefix, and last the device name. The MAC prefix is evaluated against a list of known prefixes used in skimmers recovered by law enforcement. If the MAC does not match the list, it is highlighted in yellow and is unlikely to be a skimmer. The device name is then analyzed, and if it matches a common product using the same MAC prefix, it's highlighted in orange. And last, if all three fields indicate the device is likely to be a skimmer, it's highlighted in red. Blutana app was designed to look for specific types of gas pump skimmer. One that uses a specific classic Bluetooth module and is discoverable. Law enforcement confirmed that this type of device had been found in gas stations across the entire U.S. Some skimmers may evade detection by using alternate exfiltration techniques such as SMS or Wi-Fi, or alternate configuration, non-discoverable mode. More data could have been collected by trying to connect to the skimmers, but sending commands that the skimmers are known to respond to. Blutana would be able to see if a device responds equivalently to known skimmers. Law enforcement indicated that this could overwrite information critical to future investigations, such as records of last paired MAC. So this action was not done during this study. We'll now talk about the results of their study. So the researchers conducted a 19-month study of Bluetooth devices observed with Blutana. All of the skimmers were removed from the pumps by local and federal law enforcement agents. Blutana detected 64 skimmers operating at 34 gas stations. Primary results of the studies are as follows. There was distinct characteristics differentiating the 64 skimmers identified over the 2,562 Bluetooth devices observed. Skimmers predominantly use the default Bluetooth module configuration. Some criminals use a custom device name in an attempt to hide their skimmers from scans, but these device names tend to stand out. All the skimmers observed in this study had an uncategorized class of device. So what do these skimmers actually look like in the scans? Bluetooth module manufacturers burn a MAC address into the model's EEPROM. Although it's possible to change the MAC address with the SPI-based reprogramming of the CSR chip's EEPROM, none of the skimmers observed had been modified. The first 3 bytes of the MAC typically correspond to the manufacturer of the device. All RN modules have the same MAC prefix, while HC modules have a wide variety of MAC prefixes. However, looking at the MAC prefixes of skimmers observed, there was a clear pattern. Manufacturers appeared to be burning the manufacturer date into the first 4 bytes for HC modules. Bluetooth scanning has the benefit of detecting skimmers without manually inspecting each of them of the pumps. However, the metal enclosure may limit the range of the scanners. The researchers analyzed the scan from Blutana to see how long it took to detect the skimmer, and the results showed that the median time to detect the skimmers was 3 seconds. 80% of the skimmers were detected within 1 minute. This is a 99% decrease in search time compared to the average 30 minutes required for manual inspection. So how accurate was Blutana in detecting the skimmers? The researchers analyzed Blutana scan data collected during inspections in Arizona. During the analysis, there was a total of 42 skimmers recovered, of which Blutana detected 36. Blutana accurately detecting 85.7%, but failed to detect 14.3% of the total skimmers. It's unknown for certain why these skimmers were missed. Half of the missed skimmers were from inspections where Blutana detected other skimmers. So our researchers believe that some of the likely reasons that the skimmers were missed were skimmers were powered off due to improper installation or alternate exfiltration methods such as SMS or physical recovery. Blutana also highlighted a device in red during 45 of these inspections where no skimmers were found. Blutana incorrectly detected skimmers approximately 5.9% of the time. Incorrectly identifying skimmers is likely due to the fact that RN and HC Bluetooth modules are used in a variety of legitimate products, such as radar-based speed limit signs, weather sensors, automotive diagnostic scanners, scales, and fleet tracking systems. As methods of detecting skimmers, criminals will adapt new countermeasures. So we will discuss some of those countermeasures and the cost to the criminals in this slide, and then in the following slide we will actually discuss some of the possible responses to those countermeasures. Switching to Bluetooth Low Energy, this would provide the criminal with many more hiding places since there are many standard BLE devices observed at gas stations. There's almost no cost to the criminal to switch from a classic to a low energy module, and during the study the ratio of classic to BLE was approximately 1:4. Non-discoverable skimmers. When a skimmer is in non-discoverable mode, it would not be detected during normal scans. It would only respond to paging packets specifically addressed to its MAC address. This, however, would make exfiltration of the data more difficult for the criminal. One of the exfiltration techniques that they would have to use, or could use, would be to provide a prepared device to collect the data. And according to law enforcement, the installer and the data recovery individual are often two different individual people. Additionally, they would have to keep track of their MAC addresses of the skimmers, which would require bookkeeping. Impersonating common benign devices. This would be changing the MAC address and the name of the device to that of a common device such as a mobile phone or a car system. In order to do this, a criminal would need to reprogram the MAC address on the CSR-based Bluetooth module. Essentially, they would need to reflash the firmware on the entire device. Using non-Bluetooth communications. From discussions with law enforcement, there was two other methods they had seen, Wi-Fi and GSM. Wi-Fi would likely still work with Bluetana if modified to scan for Wi-Fi devices, but specifically with GSM, it would create an additional trail of evidence linking the perpetrator to the skimmer. Law enforcement could obtain information about the SMS recipient through subpoenas, so they would need to use an SMS service that would not expose their identity. So some of the responses to these countermeasures that the criminals may use to circumvent Bluetooth detection. In regards to the Bluetooth low energy devices, they may be harder to differentiate due to the higher number of devices at each gas station and lack of distinguishing features. One possible solution would be to use an automated RSSI localization to the fuel dispenser location during scanning. For non-discoverable skimmers, a brute force method could work, but would require significant time and specialized hardware. Brute force could guess all 16.8 million possible addresses in approximately 18.64 hours. With impersonating common benign devices, Bluetana collects all Bluetooth data, so after learning the MAC addresses and names used by known skimmers, Bluetana could be updated to flag them as suspicious. In terms of using non-Bluetooth communications, in addition to legal tools available to law enforcement to trace SMS messages, a GSM modem could be detected using an SDR or software-defined radio. From this study, there were some operational lessons learned that can help shape future studies. Criminals hide the skimmers in crevices of gas pumps to avoid detection. The researchers witnessed several instances where investigators were unable to locate the skimmers via physical inspection alone. One instance in particular, Bluetana flagged 4 devices at a station where none were observed. This led officials more experienced in skimmer recovery to perform a second thorough inspection and located the 4 skimmers. The figure on the slide demonstrates how signal strength rose significantly when the gas pump's metal door was open, indicating them to inspect the pump further. MAC addresses may indicate source. Bluetooth model manufacturers tend to allocate MAC addresses sequentially by production time. So therefore, if 2 devices have similar MAC addresses, they are likely part of the same batch produced. And this information could be used to associate skimmer Bluetooth modules to the same board designer or crew. Some related work. There have been several other research studies related to Bluetooth skimming, as well as new techniques such as EMV shimming. And Skimmers et al. Found that several popular Bluetooth-based skimmer detections applications use only a MAC prefix or device name matching. The results of this study show that adding more filtering can improve detection results. Skimmers et al. Also introduced Skim Reaper, a card-shaped device that can be used to swipe to detect if the reader has an additional read header. This can be used to detect external skimmers, but cannot be used to detect internal skimmers since they do not have an additional read header. Other work has also evaluated the effectiveness of Bluetooth scanning to localized Bluetooth devices and found this to be effective. And lastly, for the conclusion here, as new skimmer detection tools gain popularity, criminals will adapt skimming designs to evade detection. Today's adoption of the EMV POS systems at gas station deadline was in October of 2020. EMV, or also commonly known as chip cards, so future research should focus on the detection of EMV shimmers. Gas pump skimming is ushering in an era of new attacks using wireless implants. Future work should also be identify other systems that are vulnerable to such implants. For example, there is a Bluetooth-based implant for unlocking door access control systems. The results of this research, however, demonstrated that Bluetooth-based scanning is an effective way at detecting Bluetooth skimmers.